This programme is brought to you in association with The Green Life. Grow your own with me, the Soil Master, Ivalik, as I bring you hints and tips on how you can be more self-sufficient with Daddy Nature. The Green Life with me, Ivalik. Learn to live your best sustainable life. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome along to Pepp & Co, a quirky comedy podcast filled with jokes, one-liners, silly sketches and some bizarre friends of mine. Coming up this week, I'll be on the streets of Crackbottom asking members of the public how the cost of living crisis has affected their family life. Professor Arthur Wordsmith will be here with a lecture on the power of words. Plus, I'll be bringing you a joke about a tooth fairy and a funny story about your dad. Before all that though, let's head over to the newsroom for the latest quirky news. Hello and welcome along to the latest quirky news. A man who took an airline company to court after his luggage went missing this week has now lost his case. After a series of crimes in the Glasgow area, Chief Inspector McTaggart has announced that he's looking for a man with one eye. If he doesn't find him, he's going to use both eyes. We've heard this afternoon that in the English Channel, a ship carrying red paint has collided with a ship carrying purple paint. It is believed that both crews have been marooned. And finally, a cement mixer has collided with a prison van on the Crackbottom bypass. Motorists are told to be on the lookout for 16 hardened criminals. You're up to date. I once knew a man who dropped out of tree surgeon college. He fainted at the sight of sap.
Resisting honour. Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to you all here at the University of Crackbottom's Sir Walter Willey Lecture Theatre and those joining us this afternoonings via the medium of live streaming. I am Professor Arthur Wordsmith, lecturing here at the University and the patron of the Vatican of Words. I'm here today to impart on my knowledge of some of the known quirky words in the English language. From Willie Shakespeare's Charlie Dickens to the classics of HGV, the English language has captured audiences for many generations. For the majority of my lifespan, I have taken it upon myself to educate all those on the quirky words you can find in the English language. And by quirky, I mean words that are a little bit peculiar that can, nay, say I should, be used in the society today. Many of the words I am about to pissant onto you can be found in my own book entitled Words and Me by Professor Arthur Wordsmith. This bookie-wookie of mine can be purchased from your local hospital shops or charity or even online in the iBook for a small fee. If you are interested in placing an order after this lecture, then I will present myself to you in the foyer afterwards. So, without further ado, the first word my flip slide is bumfuzzle. Now, many of you may be thinking this is something to do with your bottoms. No, bumfuzzle is a word used best to describe someone who is confused or feeling a little perplexed. So, the next time you are wondering about something and you see someone who is looking a bit confused or confused, then why not turn to them and say, "Excuse me, are you a little bit bumfuzzled?" The next word, thank you, for today is fartlek. Now the next word for today, thank you slide, is fartlek. Fartlek is an activity runners do when they change between sprinting and jogging. Some of you here today may have fartlecked your way here today or have passed someone in the street who is actually fartlecking. So the next time you are taking your strollings one evening and you see someone who is just strolling, then you are actually, in fact, fartlecking. The next word is herky-jerky. Now, herky-jerky best describes someone who is experiencing irregular or unpredictable movements. A scenario for you. There are in some tech shaking your shapes on the floor when you suddenly see a person, man, woman or other peculiar insect pulling off some peculiar moves. This person is experiencing what I like to call a herky-jerkies. It is a condition that affects most bodily spasms on a late Friday night. Most who suffer with the herky-jerky don't suffer any long damaging effects, but may find themselves exposed on the media of social platforming. The second to last word for you today is fard. Now, fard is typically given to a sinister ant or person who is excessively making things up. I have myself been accused in the past, in the present, and sometimes in the future of exasperating things up. But I tell you, they are not exasperating, but these are words I spray onto you are fart real and can be found in my leaflet at Words and Moo. Now, the final word I will give on to you today for absolutely free is prong. Prong is a word that best describes a person who is weak or a foolish individual. Some people have said, who are not present today, briefly said that, "Professor, you are a prong." But I say upon them, no, I am not a prong. I am Professor Auntie Wordsmith, elected here at the university and a parrot of the Vatican of hymns. I may be a little bit quirky, but I am definitely not a prong. Now, I hope you found this lantern useful today, and all the whims from the presentation today can be found in my manual, Words and Me, My Life in Worms by Pro Arthur Wordsmith. Now, for a small fee, this book can be purchased from myself in a foyer in just a moment. If there is one thing you can take to the grave with you today, is that all worms have the power to change words. Thank you very much.
And now follows an advert about a bin.
Rubbish!
I am a robot. Automated defense grid activated.
Come in. Ah, there you are, son. Now do take a seat.
Thank you very much, Father.
Excellent stuff. How are you, dear boy? Sherry?
No, thank you. I'm very well, Father, thank you.
Excellent stuff. Now, there is a reason why I have called you to this boardroom today. I have heard it on the grapevine that you intend to marry. Yes, Father. I was thinking of announcing my engagement soon to my devoted. I see. And this would be the Lady Cynthia Wigglesworth. That's correct, Father. How long have you two been together? How long have you been, courting, as it were? Oh, only 6 months, Father. I see, it's one of those, isn't it? I see. How much does she want? Oh, no, it's not like that at all, Father. We're in love. Love? Love? What's love got to do with it? Well, she's very nice, Father, and I'm sure you would approve of her. She comes from a well-respected background. Ah, yes, and that's the reason why I've summoned you here today. Lady Cynthia Wigglesworth is, of course, your second cousin twice removed. Yes, Father. I mean, it was on the understanding that I would keep it within the family. Yes, quite right, too, but on this occasion, the reason why I have brought you here today is to say I would like to end your association with Miss Wigglesworth. But, Father, why? But, Father, I was taught to always keep the bloodline pure. Yes, well, the more less said of that, the better. Now, I want you to end your association, Miss Wigglesworth, as the time has come to mix things up in the family a bit like your grandfather's situation. But I don't understand. Well, you know your grandfather and your grandmother. Yes, Father. Your grandmother, how can I put it, son, does not come from an aristocratic background. She's actually as common as muck. What? I don't believe it. Yes, you see, we're in the same predicament your grandfather was 50 years ago. His father had the same conversation about mixing the gene pool up a bit, you know, going for someone who's less, you know, a bit like us. Same thing happened with your grandfather and your grandmother. She is not actually Lady Patricia Engelbert. Her real name is Crystal Tips, and she comes from the Crackbottom estate. Now, I would like you, son, if you understand the situation, to, you know, mix things up. It's about time we, you know, did it again, shall we say. I don't understand. I would like you to go with someone a bit more common. You know, get down and dirty with the common people out there. A bit like that, you know, Harry chap and the Morgan, what's her name? Yes, Harry and Meghan Markle. Exactly, someone a little bit different. Now, I have a few selections here, son. Number one, we have this beautiful specimen here named Sharpane. Has 4 children from 4 different fathers. Number 2 is this young lady here called Lavinia. Now, Lavinia is currently holding a 4-month sentence in prison for stabbing a chap outside the co-op. She has 12 children from 4 different fathers, and currently being, again, convicted there. I don't think we'll go there. Number 3 is this young lady here called Henrietta. Now, Henrietta has no children as of yet, and she's common as muck. Her father is a local gangland leader and is also married to her auntie. So, you have a good selection here, son. So, like I said, end this association with Lady Cynthia Wigglesworth and go out there and find some common love. Was that all, Father? Yes, off you go, good chapel. Oh, those commoners. Now, I'm standing in the town centre of Crackbottom on a Saturday afternoon, place that was once bustling with thousands of people who would travel far and wide for its world-famous Georgian market. Now, sadly, that market has disappeared, along with many local businesses and shops being boarded up. I'm out and about in Crackbottom to ask the general public about how the cost of living crisis has affected their lives. Let's see if we can find someone. There's not many people about. Oh, there's a young man now. Excuse me, sir. Yes, how can I help you, young man? That's a very big microphone you've got there. Hello, sir. How has the cost of living crisis, if you don't mind me asking you, affected your life? Oh, thank God, I thought you were going to sell me something. Oh, that's a very good question. My name is Ned, by the way. Thank you, Mr. Ned. Ned, just Ned, son. Well, the cost of living crisis has been a terrible impact on the town of Crackbottom. I can see it's affected many places as well. We used to have a lovely market here in Crackbottom, in the town centre, and I used to love coming here on a Saturday, like I do today, but I used to like going to the stall over there with lots of homemade fruit and vegetables. Oh, they were gorgeous. But sadly, that has dismilled them. I've actually just come off the last bus, the only bus from Crackbottom to the local city where I've been to do my weekly shopping, which has cost me quite a fortune. I have to get that only bus, you see, because there's no other bloody buses available.
With the crisis continuing, with prices rocketing and interest going higher and higher every 6 or 3 months, how has this impacted your family life?
Well, I don't have a family, so it's not really affected them much. I do have a brother, hello, but he lives on the other side of the world in South New Zealand. And I think that's where he is. But I haven't spoken to him in nearly 35 years. I don't know why I've not heard from him. But yes, no, I don't really have a family. It's just me on my own, you see.
I've just noticed, if you don't mind me having a scout around in your bag, but you've got a couple of tins of food there. How much have they cost you today?
Well, I did get the bus as well, so these tins are fairly cheap, actually. There's like 29p, but as you can see, quite a lot of them have been dinted, but they're good enough for me and many other of us OAPs that live in the Crackbottom.
Now, the OAPs of many communities have been affected by mental health issues since the COVID-19 pandemic. What do you do to occupy yourself on a daily basis?
Well, I like to go for a walk, you see. Crackbottom has become a very, very quiet place. It did have a lovely market and a lovely festival, that flower festival that used to happen once a year, but that died a death many years ago because little cancer got infected. But yes, and then, well, on a Tuesday afternoon, I used to like going over there to the social club. But for afternoon bingo, meet my friends, Derek and George, but they're no longer with us, and the social club is now closed down. But we used to have a good game of bingo there.
What happened to the social club?
Oh, it's a typical story, you know. It died. The insurance money got a bit too high for the building, and the prize money on a Tuesday wasn't very good. In the end, what they had to do for prizes in the Crackbottom Social Society bingo is actually give out cans of food. I still have a can of tomatoes, peeled tomatoes, given to me at a prize thrown in Full House 3 months ago.
Now, thank you, Ned. It's been really interesting talking to you today about the cost of living crisis and how it's affected your life.
Thank you very much. It's a very big microphone you've got there, young man. Very nice.
Let's finish off this week's edition of Pepp & Co. with a funny story about my dad. I'll never forget Father's Day last year. I called my dad on the phone, wished him happy Father's Day, and had a really good conversation that went on for ages. It was all about Mum and when I was a kid, playing in the park and going for rides in the car. Do you know, it was fantastic. As we were finally saying goodbye, there was a catch in his voice, and he said 3 words which for as long as I live, I will never forget. Who is this?